My name is Claire Roberts, and I'm 29 years old. For the longest time, I thought I had a perfect life. I married my high school sweetheart, Ryan, when I was 25. He was charming, funny, and the kind of man who could light up any room. We didn't have much, but we were happy, or at least I thought we were. We lived in a small house in Springfield, a quiet town where everyone knew each other. I worked as an assistant manager at a local boutique, and Ryan was a freelance graphic designer. Money was tight, but I believed in us. I thought love could get us through anything. Looking back, I realized I was blind to so many things, especially when it came to Ryan. My best friend, Samantha Carter, was like a sister to me. She was 30, a few years older, and had been my rock since college. Samantha had a big personality, always cracking jokes, always the center of attention. She had a way of making people feel like they belonged, which was why I trusted her so much. She was the one person I believed would never hurt me. I was wrong. Everything started to unravel one Thursday evening. I had just gotten home from work, exhausted after dealing with a shipment of new inventory. Ryan wasn't home, which wasn't unusual. He often worked late or went to meet clients at coffee shops. At least, that's what he told me. As I was putting dinner on the table, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was from Samantha. I smiled, expecting one of her usual funny memes or random texts. Instead, it was a picture. At first, I thought it was sent by mistake, but as I looked closer, my stomach dropped. It was Ryan sitting at a fancy restaurant with Samantha. They were laughing, holding hands. My heart stopped. I felt my face flush with heat as confusion and betrayal washed over me. There had to be an explanation. Maybe this was just a bad angle. Maybe I was misunderstanding. I called Samantha immediately. The phone rang twice before she answered, her voice light and cheerful. "Hey, Claire. What's up?" I couldn't hold back. "Samantha, what's going on? I just got a picture of you and Ryan. Are you together?" There was a pause, just long enough to confirm everything. Then she laughed, but it wasn't her usual warm laugh. It sounded forced, fake. "Claire, don't be dramatic. Ryan and I were just grabbing dinner. It's nothing serious." "Nothing serious?" I said, my voice shaking. "You're holding hands in the picture. What kind of best friend does this?" Her tone shifted, growing colder. "Look, Claire, maybe if you'd paid more attention to your husband, this wouldn't have happened. Ryan deserves someone who actually supports him." I was speechless. My legs gave out, and I sank into a chair, gripping the phone like it was the only thing keeping me upright. "How long has this been going on?" "Does it matter?" she replied casually. "You'll find out soon enough." And just like that, she hung up. I sat there in silence, staring at the wall. The man I'd built my life around, the woman I trusted most, they had betrayed me. My world crumbled in an instant, and I didn't even know where to begin picking up the pieces. That was the moment I realized my so-called perfect life was nothing but a lie. The next few days felt like a blur. Ryan didn't come home that night. He didn't even bother calling to explain himself. I didn't know what to do. Should I confront him? Pack my things and leave? But why should I leave my own house? By Friday evening, I heard his car pull up in the driveway. My chest tightened as the front door creaked open. Ryan walked in casually, as if nothing had happened. He didn't even have the decency to look guilty. "Hey," he said, dropping his keys on the counter. He grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge and turned to face me. "We need to talk." I couldn't believe his nonchalant tone. "Talk? Are you serious right now, Ryan?" I stood up, trying to keep my voice steady, though every part of me was shaking. "I saw the picture, Ryan. I know about you and Samantha." He didn't even flinch. Instead, he leaned against the counter, taking a long sip of water. "Look, Claire, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Samantha and we've been seeing each other for a few months now." "A few months?" I gasped, my voice rising. "You've been cheating on me for months, and you're acting like this is no big deal?" He shrugged. "It's not like we were happy, Claire. You're always so focused on work, on paying bills, on keeping everything organized. You don't make time for us anymore." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So it's my fault? You think betraying me is justified because I was trying to keep us afloat? Do you even hear yourself? Ryan sighed, as if this conversation was exhausting for him. Look, Samantha makes me feel alive again. She understands me. I'm sorry if that hurts you, but it's the truth. I'm moving out. I think it's for the best. I stood there, stunned. The man I had loved, the man I had sacrificed so much for, was leaving me for my best friend, and he wasn't even sorry. He didn't offer an apology, didn't try to fight for us. I wanted to scream, cry, throw something, but all I could do was whisper, "You're a coward, Ryan. You don't deserve me." He didn't argue. He grabbed a duffel bag he had packed earlier, gave me one last look, and walked out the door. I stood frozen in the middle of the living room, listening to the sound of his car driving away. The next few weeks were the hardest of my life. I had to face the pitying looks from neighbors, awkward questions from coworkers, and the endless whispers about Ryan and Samantha. Everyone in town seemed to know what had happened. I stayed in the house, barely eating or sleeping. I felt like a shell of myself, a shadow of the woman I used to be. I replayed our last conversation over and over in my head, wondering how I hadn't seen the signs. How had I missed the fact that the man I loved had already checked out of our marriage? Then, one day, my phone buzzed with a message from my dad. It was short and simple. "Come to the house. We need to talk." When I arrived at my parents' house, my dad was waiting for me in his study. He was a tall, stern man who rarely showed emotion, but when he saw me, his face softened. "Claire," he said, motioning for me to sit. "Your mom and I have been talking, and we've decided it's time to tell you something important." I frowned, unsure of where this was going. "What is it, Dad?" He leaned forward, resting his elbows on the desk. "Your mother and I aren't just comfortable. We're wealthy. Millionaires, actually. We never told you because we wanted you to grow up understanding the value of hard work and independence." I blinked, my mind struggling to process his words. "Wait, you're millionaires? Since when?" "Since before you were born," he said with a small smile. "But now, given everything you've been through, we think it's time to make some changes. We want to transfer part of our fortune to you." My jaw dropped. "What?" "Dad, I don't need your money." "I can't." He raised a hand to stop me. "Claire, you've always been responsible. You've worked hard for everything you have, even when Ryan didn't pull his weight. This isn't about need. It's about giving you the resources to rebuild your life. You deserve it." Tears filled my eyes as I realized how much my parents cared. For the first time in weeks, I felt a spark of hope. Maybe this was the fresh start I needed. Within days, my life began to change. My dad transferred a significant portion of his wealth to me, enough to pay off the house, start a new business, and live comfortably. I quit my job at the boutique and began working on a dream I had long buried, opening my own design studio. But as news of my fortune spread, so did the drama. And just when I thought Ryan was out of my life for good, he came crawling back. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon when my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen and froze. It was a message from Ryan. "Hey, Claire. Can we talk? I've made some mistakes and I miss you. Please give me a chance to explain." I stared at the words, anger bubbling inside me. After everything he'd done, he had the audacity to come back? I ignored the message, but it didn't stop there. Over the next few days, he sent more texts, left voicemails, and even showed up at my doorstep. When I opened the door to face him, he looked different. His once confident demeanor was replaced with desperation. His clothes were wrinkled, his hair unkempt. Samantha's betrayal had clearly taken a toll on him. "Claire," he said, his voice soft, almost pleading. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need to talk to you." I crossed my arms, keeping my expression cold. "Talk about what, Ryan? About how you left me for my best friend? Or about how you didn't even look back as you walked out the doors?" He ran a hand through his messy hair. "I was stupid, Claire. Samantha, she wasn't what I thought she was. She only cared about herself. She's gone now. I made the biggest mistake of my life, and I want to fix it." I let out a bitter laugh. "Fix it? You can't just walk back into my life like nothing happened, Ryan. You destroyed us. I know, he said quickly. But I've changed. I've realized how much I love you. Please, Claire, just give me one more chance. I leaned against the doorframe, staring at him. For a moment, I wondered what the old me would have done. The Claire who believed in love, who thought Ryan was her whole world, might have forgiven him. But I wasn't that woman anymore. Ryan, I said, my voice steady, you didn't love me. You loved the convenience I gave you. You loved that I made your life easier while you gave me nothing in return. And now that you're struggling, you think I'm your safety net.
I'm not.
His face fell. That's not true. Oh, it is, I interrupted. And you know what else?
I've moved on.
I'm doing better than ever without you, and I won't let you drag me down again. He looked at me, his desperation turning into frustration. You think you're better than me now? Just because you've got monies?
This isn't about money, I snapped.
This is about respect, something you never gave me. Before he could argue further, I stepped back inside and slammed the door in his face. For the first time since he left, I felt free. I thought that would be the end of it, but Ryan wasn't done. A week later, I got a call from my lawyer, Amber Wright, who had been helping me manage the financial transfers from my parents. Claire, Amber said, her tone serious. We have a problem. Ryan has filed a claim against your assets, claiming he's entitled to part of the fortune you inherited. My blood ran cold.
What?
He has no right to any of it. We're divorced. I know, Amber said. But he's arguing that some of the money might have been marital property. It's a baseless claim, but we'll need to fight it in court. I couldn't believe the lengths Ryan was willing to go to. Not only had he betrayed me, but now he wanted to take what was mine. I decided then and there that I wouldn't let him win. The court date arrived quickly. Ryan stood across the room, looking smug, as if he believed he could manipulate the system. But he hadn't counted on one thing. I had evidence. Amber presented financial records showing that my inheritance was transferred well after our divorce. She also showed the court how Ryan had drained our joint account before leaving me, proving his greed and lack of entitlement to my fortune. But the real nail in the coffin came when Amber played a recording. It was a voicemail Ryan had accidentally left on my phone, ranting to a friend about how he planned to get back with Claire for her money. The courtroom fell silent as the judge listened to his words. Ryan's face turned pale, and for the first time, he looked truly defeated. The judge ruled in my favor, dismissing Ryan's claim and ordering him to pay back the money he had taken from our joint account during our marriage. It was a small victory, but it felt like justice. After the trial, I made a promise to myself. No more looking back. Ryan and Samantha were out of my life for good, and I had everything I needed to build a better future. With Amber's help, I launched my design studio, which quickly became a success. I hired a team, built a loyal client base, and even started mentoring young designers. For the first time in years, I felt like I was living for myself. A few months later, I met someone new. His name was Ethan, and he was nothing like Ryan. He was kind, supportive, and genuinely interested in my dreams. We took things slow, but every day with him felt like a step towards something real. Looking back, I'm grateful for everything I went through. It wasn't easy, but it taught me the most important lesson of all: self-worth. I don't need someone to complete me. I am enough on my own. As for Ryan, the last I heard, he was couch surfing, unable to hold down a job. Samantha had left him, and he had burned too many bridges to recover. It was a fitting end for someone who thought he could take without consequence. And me? I'm thriving. Because losing Ryan wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning of a much better one.